Video conferencing on platforms like Zoom and Teams is not going anywhere. And if you want to excel in the virtual job market, you've got to get comfortable on these platforms and showing up on camera. I'm Kimber Hill, your virtual fairy job mother. Today, I have an incredible guest who can show you and me a thing or two about showing up on camera. She's a CNN news anchor alum, founder of Ryland Media, and TV expert. Come on and listen in to Lynn Smith chat about showing up on camera. Virtual employment is here to stay. I'm military spouse, VirtForce founder, and your remote work expert, Kimber Hill. Subscribe now to learn how you too can thrive in the virtual workforce. All right, so you're the expert of being on camera, and you were talking just a few minutes ago about we're 2 years into this pandemic. Everyone here should know how to show up on Zoom and should know how to show up virtually. So talk to me about what it means to look fantastic on Zoom. Share with me how this medium can be mastered.
Okay, and I'm curious for everyone watching right now, if I were to say to you, turn your cameras on right now, how many of you would be ready for a camera Zoom and presenting yourself? Chime in the comments so we can hear from you, because I guarantee, and I hope that a lot of you are in your sweats for this, but when you're showing up for your meetings with your employer, for potential employer interviews, for anything that you're engaging the client, we want to imagine that we are meeting in the conference room in that office that so long ago was commonplace. And what's so unique about VirtForce is that you've created this before the pandemic even existed. And this is really yay, sweats and wine. I'm jealous. But when you created this before the pandemic, it was to solve the problem of the fact that so many military spouses had to sacrifice their careers for their partner's service. And the responsibility of being able to have that privilege where you can do that from wherever, you want to make sure that employer knows that you are not sacrificing any of the quality. So what does that mean when it comes to visually? Visually, it has to be appealing. Does that mean that it has to look like mine? Which, yes, it's a professional camera. No, it just means that there are some things that you can make small adjustments to that make a big impact. For example, your camera at eye level. I can't tell you how common sense this now seems, but how many times people don't think about it. It's below their nose, so you're staring at somebody's nostrils, or it's up above and you're staring down on someone's head. And I give examples to show you side by side what it looks like when you make that change and how impactful it can be, because you feel like, wait, aren't we this far into it that you know to do that? No, it's the first mistake that even is this an example before you and I had our course?
Yes. So I didn't mean to cut you off. I was getting it ready and it came on too soon. But here's another one. But this is really more in relation to the background. So I'll let you
So I'll stay in the background. So let's work through this, because Kimber and I walked through her background. Even when she had it beautiful like that, the lighting needed to be tweaked. So you may think, well, listen, it's a curtain in the background and it's a neutral color and my mic is there. But right now your computer screen is lighting your face. And so you have a blue hue to your face, and it's more distracting that there's a curtain there. Do you see the difference when Kimber's actually added some of a nice piece of greenery, a nice piece of art, none of it too much. It should not in any way overwhelm the screen, but it's just enough to have something feel organized, clean, and not take away from actually you, which is the most important part. And the lighting, we've gone through how important it is to invest in that ring light. And they're really not that expensive. And I'm really happy to be able to, and we can send this out to your email list, my favorite ring light that is, under $100. There are also ring lights that are $20, but you make those small investments in your background and it makes an impression. It also makes an impression when you don't make those changes as well.
It certainly does. And one of the things that still jars me even today is when I do hop on a call with someone and the computer is, down in their lap and I am looking up at the nose. It is what it is. It is Zoom. But when you're applying as a candidate, I guess you have a little bit more security if you're already in the position. But when you're applying as a candidate and you want to stand out, those are just the little tiny tweaks that are going to make you rise head and shoulders above someone who also is working for that position.
And even if you have the position, that meeting with your boss where they see you made the effort to show up the way that you would if you were in an office, that's impressive to them. They know that you are dedicated. That doesn't mean that you can't have the occasional, hey, I'm working from my couch today kind of a moment, but it's the mindset that you want to have of showing up professional on camera every single time you do and looking into the lens. I get asked all the time, where should I look? And in Zooms, you're looking down and at everybody else, and all of that's fine if you're having a group collaborative session. But if you're in an interview, and it doesn't feel natural, I know, because you want to be looking at someone, and this is what I do for a living, so it just seems natural that I'm looking into the camera. It's not. You want to put a red Post-it behind that circle camera on your computer to remind you to be looking straight into the camera, because for your person out there that's interviewing you, they're just looking at your face, and that's how you're connecting with them, by looking straight into the camera. And the red Post-it tends to really help to remind you.
Absolutely. Another trick that I like to use is to make their box as small as possible. So Zoom will give you a return box of the person that you're looking at. Make it as small as possible and stick it up. Push it up on your screen, up to where your camera is. So I'm going to use my finger now. It's going to be over here for me.
Yep.
So if you do need to look at their face, if you have a hard time staring at your red Post-it, you can kind of click a reference with your eyes to see what their facial expressions are. Are they engaged? But it's different than if their face were down here on your screen and large.
Absolutely.
If it's small and up near the camera, it's easier.
And I wish I could actually flip my camera around to show you my setup, but I put a television screen behind. It's just, it was a cheapo television that I could connect to my computer with an HDMI cable, where I'm staring into the camera, but behind me, I can see you if I need to look off to the side, or if I could, it's something where, especially if you're engaging with groups a lot, that's something that can be a small tweak that doesn't distract you and make you want to look down as much as possible. It's just it's a hard medium that we're all navigating, but it's not going away.
Right. So if you want a more in-depth lesson, check out tvnewsacademy.com. And remember that Lynn is going to give everyone in VirtForce an incredible deal. If you want to take TV News Academy, she's going to offer 50% off and a 30-minute consultation with her to discuss strategy. All right. So
yes,
Lynn,
and if you would like to do that, you can reach out to me on my email, which is lynn@lynnsmithtv.com, so we can talk about it further.
Lynn@lynnsmithtv.com. Thank you.
Right.